Out of all the popular tricks there are to do with a whip, my favorite is cutting targets. There's a curious sense of accomplishment when you hit that target. In this video, I want to show you how to make a PVC target stand, which is not only simple to make, but also inexpensive and portable.
So the materials list for this project is actually really simple and inexpensive. First and foremost, you're going to need a 5-foot piece of 1/2 inch PVC pipe. Now, guess how much this costed me? This set me back a whopping $1.07, sales tax included. And that's the beautiful thing about working with PVC. It's really soft, it's easy to cut, and it's really, really inexpensive. Now it's really convenient because the measurements of everything you see here is in 1/2 inch, so it's easy to remember. Next, we're gonna need a 1/2 inch cross piece, connector piece. Next, we're gonna need a pack of 1/2 inch metal spring clamps. Now these actually came in a pack of 4 for $2.50. You don't need 4 unless you're making more than one target, but I probably will be, so I picked this up. And these are great because they're metal. Now to hold these onto our target stand, I picked up a couple of these guys. These are called hose clamps. Now, realistically, you probably could use zip ties to attach these clamps to your target stand, but considering that zip ties will become brittle after use, especially when it's cold outside and will oftentimes break off, I decided, even though it might be a little bit overkill, I decided to choose the hose clamps because they're metal and I know they're not going anywhere. Next, we're going to use this. This is called a socket flange, once again in 1/2 inch. And if you like to cut cans, this is something that you can set your can on top of. This is going to plug right into the top of our target stand. Now it's time for the tools. Another very simple list. Hacksaw, tape measure, straight blade screwdriver for tightening our hose clamps, and then just a clamp to hold our PVC pipe in while we're cutting it. So step number 1, let's mark out 1-foot increments, 2 of them, on our PVC pipe. There's 1 foot. There's another foot. Now we're going to cut these 2 feet off of our main section of pipe. Now I mentioned that PVC was soft, but just to show you how soft it really is, already through it, just like that. And we're going to cut off our 2nd foot of PVC. Same way we did it last time. Oops. All right. So we have our 2 1-foot pieces here, and then our 3-foot piece, which is left over. Next, we're going to take our cross piece, and we're going to put 2 of these on opposite ends. Now, these are the 2 arms of our target stand. These are what are going to be holding our horizontal targets. Now the next step is to cut off a 3-inch piece of PVC pipe off of our main section here. And that's going to be the coupling piece that we use to attach our little can holder to the top. So we'll do that real quick. And we can take that coupler piece, push in our little 3-inch piece of PVC pipe that we just cut off, and now we can go ahead and put that in place. And that's looking pretty good. Now the next step is to cut a 45-degree angle on this PVC pipe, just like this, so that it has a nice sharp point that we can push into the ground. Actually, the ground is more than soft enough to not put this angle in it, but we're going to do it anyway because the ground isn't always going to be as soft as it is right now. So that's going to cut into the ground a lot more efficiently. So the next step is to attach our clamps to our target stand. I love these things, they're great. And they're strong, and they're very cheap. This is where our 2 hose clamps come into play. Only going to need 2 of these. So some people like to attach, say this is vertical, like this. And other people like to attach them horizontal. I actually like to attach them horizontal, like this, because it gives you more flexibility as to the orientation of your target. If you have it just like this, you can't have targets vertical, you can only have them horizontal. So doing this gives you 2 options. So we're going to do it just like that. So hose clamp goes on first, like that, and then our clamp. And now we're just going to take our straight blade screwdriver and tighten that hose clamp up. These hose clamps are so useful for so many different projects. My father is the one who told me about hose clamps when I was young, and he would use them in many of his projects too. So look at how tightly that's holding that in place. I'm actually going to give this a little bit more of a turn here. And there we go. 1 down. And I'm going to do the exact same thing for the other one. Now sometimes, quite oftentimes actually, I like to have little competitions with friends. And instead of putting it on this side, I'm going to actually do it on the opposite side to make it more easy for them, so when they hit their target they don't have to reach around my side. So we're just going to do it on the opposite side there. Just like that. Looking good. And tighten up our hose clamp. This one's a little stubborn for some reason. I think the threads are a little bit damaged. There we go. It was just kind of, when it was manufactured, there was probably some metal shavings in there keeping it from tightening. There we go. Looks great. Now that's strong and it's not going anywhere. So there we go. We have 2 clamps attached to our horizontal piece of our target stand. We have our pop can holder or cup holder or whatever if you want to set something on top there to use as target practice. You got that. And lastly, to complete this project, we're obviously going to take this, put it in here, and our target stand is complete. And there we go. Now the beautiful thing about using PVC, once again, is that if this is too short for you, if it's too tall for you, all you have to do is go to your local hardware store, get a longer, shorter, whatever piece of PVC, cut it to the exact length that you like. You saw how easy it was to cut that PVC. You slip it in there, and you can have any height you like for your target stand. Now if you're indoors, if you don't have ground that's soft like this, maybe you live in Arizona or in a place where the ground is very dry and it's more desert, you can't really stick anything in there. You could, with that PVC, build a little foundation to where it can just sit on the surface of the ground. Add some weight to it, and that's something that you could do to still get away with using PVC as your target stand. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching this video. I hope you go out and build some of these target stands for yourself. Also, please do head over to patreon.com/NicksWhipShop. There you can support these videos and help keep them coming. As always, if you learned something new and liked the video, please do subscribe because there's a lot more just like this one on the way. A special thank you to Caliber Whips for sending me a whole bunch of these Kevlar crackers for me to try out. I love these things. I'm a big fan of thinner crackers because they're sharper and they're just much easier to get to crack. And they're great for smaller targets like this that you saw in today's video. So check out caliberwhips.com and you can pick up yourself a bunch of these Kevlar crackers. Take 3. So the tools and so the materials list for this project. This is a day where I can't talk. Spring metal clamps, metal spring clamps. Next, we have, this is called I forgot what this is called. Stupid piece of plastic. What is it? PVC socket flange.